Hey everyone, and welcome to It's a Charlie Thing with your hosts, me, Charlie, and
Charlie,
hello, Charlie. Are you? How are you feeling today?
I think I'm all right. I'm like a little bit frazzled, but we're okay. We're getting there.
Yeah, but I think that frazzled is good. I think that frazzled, considering this is the first time we're doing this,
Yeah.
microphones, headphones. I've gone out and purchased lighting for absolutely no reason because this is basically an audio platform. But it's just, I think it's one of those things. You start anything new and you're like, I need this to be perfect immediately.
I don't need it to be perfect, but like it's just this brand new thing scare me. So
Yeah. Yeah, I completely understand. That is why I'm still recording this from my father's bedroom.
yeah, quite
Yeah,
right. And I'm still staying in the same place I normally am.
yeah, we're great. Creatures of habit, and that is a fine thing indeed. That is the Charlie thing of today. We found it already. Let's go home. Creatures of habit. Anyway, I believe that you have got some news or a little segment to kick us off. So why don't you go ahead with that, and I will just stare out of the front window.
I said to Charlie about starting the month with like bookish birthdays before we did the news. Like obviously it was because at the beginning of the month we'll go through some bookish birthdays, or not even just bookish birthdays, like anything significant to the Charlies, because it's a Charlie thing. And so the first one is obviously this month is going to be on the January the 3rd is J.R.R. Tolkien's birthday. It would have been his birthday, so that's like a thing to be noted, which is very, very exciting. We've also got A.A. Milne's birthday on the January the 18th. Obviously, he wrote.
We just got all of the acronyms.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, A.A. J.R.R. I haven't actually. I feel like circling back going to J.R.R. Tolkien. I've still got the series to read. I've obviously read The Hobbit, but I've never read. Have you? You haven't completed the series yet either, have you?
I haven't completed the series. That is just, it's one of those things where, like, I have read The Hobbit a few times now. The first book, The Fellowship of the Ring, was the one I talk about. Like, for years it bored me, and then as an adult I developed an appreciation for it, and I think that I should have just always waited until I was an adult with that one. And I've listened to the second book, but I've still never actually finished the series. And oddly enough, coincidentally, we will say, it is a plan at some point within the near future to try and read those.
Yeah,
But,
I definitely
I don't
want
like to
to.
make any set
Solid plans.
plans. Yeah.
I want to read the series. It's the Fellowship of the Ring series, isn't it?
Well, it's
So that's the plan.
It's the Lord of the Rings. The Fellowship
Lord
of
of
the
the
Ring
Rings.
is the first one. Yeah.
I don't know what the
Let's
words
not
are.
offend anybody who's like really into the Tolkien world right now.
Yeah, well, I do want to read them. I want to read all of the books, so I'm definitely, and because I love The Hobbit, I read that like not last year. It would be the year before now because my brain's jumbly with the last years because we're currently, as we're filming this, we are currently in the last year, which is very, very confusing, timey-wimey stuff. A.A. Milne is a particular favourite of mine because I love the Winnie the Pooh series, especially growing up. They were like books that meant a lot to me because it was something that my mum used to always read to us, and it was a show I always watched a lot when I was a kid, and then also as an adult, being a parent, they were books that I read with my children. So, and we've got memories of going to like down to down to Sussex, I think, and going into like the woods to hit around there and doing like poo sticks and stuff. So yeah, that's a particular favourite. So yeah, that's why another reason why I noted A.A. Milne as one of the birthdays for this month. Another thing to be talking about is the New Year's Honours List has obviously just been the King's. What did you say it's called? The King's Honours List.
The New Year's Honours List is what I said it was called, but you
That's
call it
what
what
it's
you
called.
like. You rechristen it today.
Yeah, I will. Yeah,
Perfectly
so
okay to do that.
that has been announced, and people of note that there's many people. There's like some sporty people. I think there's some lionesses on there, or a lioness on there, and then also we've got Cynthia Erivo, because obviously on our bookish, it's a Charlie thing YouTube channel last year, I mentioned that I had been reading Cynthia's memoir recently. I think Simply More, I think it's called. So when I saw that she has been appointed an MBE, so that's very exciting. Well, she's going to be appointed an MBE. By the time you've watched this, it would have been appointed. And then along also Idris Elba and is being knighted alongside Jane Torville and Christopher Dean, and they are people I'm very, very excited for. So I think that's very exciting to me.
There's just one person you're omitting that I feel like we definitely need to mention. Well, I definitely need to
Go on,
mention.
tell me.
Sally Lindsay.
Oh, okay, I didn't see.
Yes.
Coronation Street.
Well, she was Shelley on winning Coronation Street. She did another show for Sky, whose name I can't remember, but she also helped to develop Scott and Bailey. She was in Still Open All Hours. She's in the Modern Blanc Mysteries. She's,
Loads of things.
and also she's from Stockport, which is literally like within an hour from my house. I just went to the Stockport Plaza with work to see a theatre show there. So, I just feel like we need to mention the Northerners too. You probably did. I don't know where any of those people came from because, frankly, I don't care. But we do need to mention Sally Lindsay.
Well done for Sally Lindsay, and well done well done to all the people on the honours list this year. I always find it. I think it's quite exciting to see who gets listed, and yeah. So yeah, those are the people I just wanted to mention, especially because we had literally spoken about Cynthia's book like last month. So yeah. In particular, that's my bookish news. I think my bookish news. I think that's it.
Yeah. Do not fret. Do not worry. Charlie will be back with more bookish news over the coming weeks. And
yes, I will.
Yeah. So you've got a lot to look forward to as we head into 2026. Goodness me.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
It's like we're living in the future. That's like, because when I was I was born in the 80s, and 2026 felt like very, very long way away.
Since last we spoke, a great big festive event celebrated by millions took place. Gifts were given, gifts were received, and because of that, Charlie and I have decided that we are going to kick off this year with a haul of the books that we got for that time of year that we call Christmas.
It was good. Did you have a good Christmas, Charlie?
Did I have a good... It was actually a really good one, yeah. This year, my sister decided she was hosting it. She got married in October. She was, really house proud. Also, it kind of helped that she decided to undertake everything. Up until last week, I thought that I was going to have to cook everything at home and take it with me. And in the end, we just had to cook a turkey and my vegan option, and then hot-footed it over to her house. And it was just very good, festive, familial fun. We played Cards Against Humanity. We played this Tetris block game where you have to pick a card and then put it on this balancing block, and if it collapses, you're out. We watched the feature from their wedding video, of which I actually ended up being in it a lot more than I anticipated I would be. It is only the feature, so it's not like this is the full wedding video based around me, but basically my speech became the soundtrack to the first 10 minutes of that video.
Wow.
I hated it. So that was me. That was my Christmas. How about yours? What did you get up to?
What did we get up to? Well, the best thing, as I already alluded to in our last episode, was that my eldest child came home from university. So I have been surgically attached to them. No, I haven't really. It's just been so nice having them home, and we have been playing loads of family games, as you would expect. We've got a new one. We haven't got the full version. I got everybody Aldi had some miniature versions of games, and so I got each of us one of those, and one of the ones that we played the most is called Herd Mentality. Have you heard of it?
I nearly bought this for somebody, yeah.
We want the full version. We really are desperate for the full version, although if we don't get it soon, Oscar's going to literally be going back, so... Yeah, so we've just been having... and when you play a game, as probably like with Cards Against Humanity, you are like... The idea of this game is that with the Herd Mentality, you have to try and say the same answer.
Yeah.
So everybody's answers were just so off the wall and so hilarious. And one in particular that springs to mind that I'm going to share with you is that Belle, when Belle is playing games, her and her father are very, very close. They're like this. You know this about
yes.
my family. And so she was trying to cheat. But we are all against cheating in games. I want to say this. We do not allow cheating in games.
Okay.
But Richard was really struggling with trying to think of a thing. So it was Lady Gaga, as what Oscar calls her. So one of the things was you had to think of a Lady Gaga song. And Lady Gaga song.
I got it.
And Richard, Richard can think of anything. So my husband does not clearly know Lady Gaga's music very well. Either which way, his mind had gone completely blank, bless him. And so Belle was going like this. I know people from the podcast, I'll specify what I'm doing. Belle was sat there poking her face. And because obviously the song is Poke Her Face.
Yeah.
And she was poking her face and she was mouthing the words, poke her face, poke her face, poker face. You know what I mean? She's mouthing the song.
I think myself and most of the listeners who know of the
But
Lady of the
Richard did
Gaga
not get
music
it.
understood that.
So we were cracking up because I was actually going, no, but she was just kept poking her face and he just couldn't get it at all. He didn't have a clue what the song was. So that made us all laugh quite a lot. And it was a brilliant game. So yeah, but yeah, playing games, having family time, eating loads of food, eating too much. Belle and Richard were ill over Christmas, unfortunately, as a lot of the country were this Christmas. But they've started to recover a bit more now. Although Belle's still a little bit snuffly, bless her. That was our Christmas.
Well, I think we covered everything. We've said that our house has been really dramatic and had more than the soap's worth in terms of everything that's gone on since Christmas Day. But I won't get into that here. You can find out about that in my memoir in about 70 years' time. I think that really we should just hot foot it straight into a book haul.
Seems like a good plan, Charlie.
I know. I'm full of.
Should we do one book?
One book each. Yeah?
Yeah, that's the one.
Well, we can try that. I know that I've got fewer books than you have, but
I could do 2 books, 1 book, 2. Yeah, we'll make it work.
We'll figure it out. Let's just hear some books from you first, Charlie.
I don't have mine in order of. I
don't need an order, Charlie. Just tell me the damn books.
Sorry. First book is Strange Houses by Uketzi. This is an author that's like an internet. I think he's like a booktube author / YouTuber, and he's created 2 books. I think he's done Strange Pictures and Strange Houses. Strange Houses, I believe, is the second book. My husband's got Strange Pictures and I've got Strange Houses. We are both interested to read the books. I think it's like written in like an unusual format. Like it kind of gives me horror store kind of vibes, if you know what I mean, because that's got like a little bit of an unusual layout, and I believe there are pictures of literally ground floor plans and house plans. So, which is very appealing, and I'm very excited to be reading some darker fiction because it's not something I usually read.
Yeah, we both avoid darker fiction usually, but one thing that I do like about this cover, and I'm aware that the people who are listening might not know this, but it's just the really bright colours. It's got some vibrant blues and pinks going on here. There's a hatchet. There's a
it's very
dismembered hand on there. It's just it's great.
And Strange Pictures is exactly the same. It's very like bloody on the front as well. So, and that's bright green and black. So, I will read this, and then I'll swap. My husband will hopefully read the Strange Pictures, and we will swap. So, I will keep you posted about that one. How about you, Charlie?
As you know me, I put an order to everything.
Alphabetical order.
No, not alphabetical order. I've done this in the order of the way in which I open them, and so basically, we always open family presents together. But the gifts that we get from friends are like free to open at any point on Christmas Day. And so obviously I opened yours first. And so what we'll
Oh dear, I'm a bit scared.
well, Charlie knows the story already. But so these came from Charlie, co-host. She got me a very nice edition of Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. This is a hardcover edition from Vintage Classics, which seems to be marshland. There's loads of reeds. There's birds of whose breed I do not know. And
they've released a whole set of those, and they're all so beautiful. And as soon as because I was thinking about it, and that was that was 100%.
And that's a blue book, and there seemed to be a colour story to the books that Charlie got me this Christmas, and it was fantastic. And a book that she got me is High Rising by Angela Thirkell, which this is the first in a series of comedies that Angela Thirkell wrote using Anthony Trollope's Barsetshire. It doesn't follow any of the characters who were in the Barsetshire series, but she's just used that setting as a means to place her characters in it. Unfortunately, I already own this book. And I was going to do this whole thing of keeping this secret from Charlie because of I do actually want to read this, and it's because I've been reading all these classic female writers of the 20th century. So I've done Elizabeth Taylor, Barbara Pym, and Mary Stuart, and Angela Thirkell is on that list. And I actually had her on my TBR for December, but I was like, I can just hide. I don't need to tell Charlie anything about this. And then I discovered I'd already mentioned it in a haul, and Charlie had already commented on that video. And so I had no choice but to inform her that I had actually already got this book. And I have been in the process of picking up any Angela Thirkell I find in a charity shop. So
I felt terrible.
Apparently so. But there was
It
absolutely
did.
no need to feel terrible. We're bookish people. We are obviously going to end up buying one another books we already own. It's unfortunately the nature of the beast.
And normally I go through and I would check previous hauls, but December was so busy. It was so crazy, as for every single person on this planet, I'm guessing. And I just didn't have the time to go back and check things. I think I spoke to Emily, and not that I'm blaming Emily. It sounds like I'm
Blame
being horrible to
Emily.
my sister.
Emily
I'll
is
just
to
blame
blame for
Emily.
this.
The fact that I saw your book haul and commented on it and still forgot is irrelevant. But yeah, I said to Emily, "Oh, you don't think Charlie hasn't got this book, has he?" She was, "Oh no, she hasn't. She's equally as clueless as me." So
I mean, I'm absolutely thrilled by that because that means that Emily does not watch my videos as much as I thought, and I
no,
don't
she
feel
does watch
so
your
guilty
videos.
nowadays.
She would have seen it as well, but I was the one that commented on it,
To be
and I'm
fair,
your
it
best
was
friend,
6 months ago.
I know. But I'm a terrible friend. So Charlie had a. That's what it was. But I
Well,
have I've course corrected
yeah,
for those people watching.
and I'm also really thrilled by the fact that you've just given us a title for this video.
What?
Charlie is a terrible friend.
Yeah, Charlie's a terrible friend. That's going to be hopefully not the theme for 2026. That's not imagine that's
It is
the
the theme
first
for
step.
2026. How can we upset each other for the next 52 weeks?
No,
Like you're determined that this podcast is going to turn us into enemies.
I really am scared.
You
This is
really
like
think
an
that
actual fear,
we're going to
Charlie.
become antagonistic towards one another?
If you have any like commitment with people that you have to do, it just is. I'm a bit scared.
Oh, well, that's the thing. I've never been committed.
I mean, there you go then. So
Yeah, there you go.
should be
Anyway,
okay.
what's your next book?
My lovely friend Kath gave me a big pile of presents, including stuff to do with like tea and some chocolate and some biscuits. And she's like the most loveliest friend. So thank you, Kath, if you are listening, which I'm sure you're probably not. But she gifted me. No, well, I don't know. Maybe if you're listening, Kath, I'm so happy. She's the most wonderful person. She dropped this on my doorstep, and it's Bibliomaniac by Robin Ince, and it's like a guide to like bookshops around the UK. It's Robin Ince. It's non-fiction. He's talking about books.
A book
He's a
about books. We
bibliophile.
do like a book about books.
Yeah. It's non-fiction. I'm excited. It's pink. The book is pink with beautiful gold, so it's very striking. And there's a guy sitting on a train with books. It's a book train.
Yeah. I mean, some people can look up these things as well. And
I mean, they can. But I feel like I have to describe everything. Because this is podcasting's new to me.
Yeah, you'll get over it soon.
Yeah. I won't get over it. It takes me like anything brand new. It takes me so long to get used to. So if anyone's listening and can identify with me for brand new things that they make you feel unsettled, we can be in the club together. My lovely sister Emily gave me her copy of, re-gifted me a copy of Beloved, which is the vintage editions that are really, really beautiful. And I've read Beloved, and it's by Toni Morrison, and I've read. I think this is the second Toni Morrison I've read, and it was beautiful and good, and also very tragic and difficult and heartbreaking. But yeah, it's sort of like a modern, it's not a modern ghost story. It's sort of ghost, almost like a ghost story, isn't it?
I haven't read any Toni Morrison yet. She is on my list, but it's one of those things where I've spent a few years not reading any darker fiction, and I know how things go in Toni Morrison's books. So whilst
they're very, very
I'm aware
dark.
there's like this great literary quality to them, I've just not been able to.
This was a beautiful, beautiful book. The first book I read by Toni Morrison was Sula, and Sula, I think it's still out of the two. I do prefer. I feel like Sula is a bit more accessible than Beloved. Beloved has like I said this ghostly element to it, and it's obviously it's set at the time of like slavery. It's beautiful. I love her writing. I want to read more. So yeah, that's another project on my list. But yeah, how about you, Charlie?
So my next book was gifted to me by my friend Joy, and that is A Child's Christmas in Wales by Dylan Thomas, and this is the Penguin cloth-bound classics edition that is done by Coralie Bickford-Smith. I was really grateful to get this because I've been looking for A Child's Christmas in Wales for many years. It was very popular at the writers group. There's quite a few people who read it every year, but I've never been able to find a copy. Now, in this edition here, it includes a lot of Dylan Thomas's other writings and memoir pieces about his childhood. So the story I wanted to read is the final story in here. I've read a few, and I have to say, like, in terms of memoir and in terms of prose, this so far has been like an exquisite read. It's just,
Oh, wow.
you can tell that the person is a poet from the
I was
prose.
going to say, yeah.
It's been a fantastic little thing to dip in and out of between Christmas and New Year.
They have a Dylan Thomas Poetry Prize, don't they?
Yes. And yeah, no, I highly recommend it. I do need to read Dylan Thomas's poetry. That's a task for another day.
I feel like I've read some of his poems in like bind-ups of other books.
Definitely, yeah.
This is a chunky one, so excuse. It's a Mina Lima, but it's Frankenstein. My lovely sister, my younger sister Vicky, gifted this to me, and I really can't wait to read it. I've always wanted a Mina Lima. She was out and about Christmas shopping in London when she picked it up. I'm very excited. And it's the tale of Frankenstein, so everyone sort of knows about Frankenstein. Do you want to cover what Frankenstein is?
Well, again, everyone knows the story of Frankenstein, and it's one of those that I had to read in my first few months at university. And it's a good job it was my first few months as well, because that was when I was like hardcore dedicated student. I'll read anything you tell me I need to read. I'm aware that loads of people like the story. I'm not one of them. I found it incredibly dry.
Oh, I loved it. And also there's obviously the Netflix adaptation, and this, and specifically the best thing about the Mina Lima editions, in case anyone that doesn't know about Mina Lima books, they have all these like interactive elements. So you have like, there's like an eye, like a thing that reveals an eye in here that you like twist and turn. There's like pop out elements. So yeah, there's loads and loads of bits that you can like, it's very interactive. I'm very excited.
I've nearly bought their edition of the Jungle Book before, but that was back when I had about 3 editions of that story, and I was like, I can't have a 4th one just because it's interactive. And now I only have the 1.
I think, that's sad. I think I have got like 2 or 3 copies. This will be my 3rd copy of Frankenstein. But this is what I don't mind. I don't know about you, but I like having multiple copies of my favourite books. This is what I'm like. Anyway.
I might have purchased more copies of Kate Atkinson last year because I was worried about wearing mine out, but...
Especially Emotionally Weird.
That is the one.
Go for it.
I will do the only new to me book on this list, because all the others were ones that I requested because I've read or listened to them before and I just wanted to have hard copies for my shelves. But this one my mother saw at the shop and decided that I needed it in my life, and I've absolutely no idea why, but that is A Case of the Claws, which is classic tales of feline crime. Now, I don't know whether she got me this book because I've been reading the classic crime short stories and talking about them with her, but it's feline.
You don't like cats?
No, we've been through this before.
Oh, sorry.
I like cats. I'm allergic to cats.
Oh, that's right.
So,
Sorry,
so
I'm not trying to launch you
the
as
entire book sneezing, I'm going to be okay.
I don't think that's going to happen.
You never know. It could have just gone right into my subconscious, and now any mention of a cat will see me just sneezing like nobody's business, eyes streaming, having to run for an antihistamine. My favourite.
I was going to say maybe you should record that, but if it happens, but that's probably not a visual everyone wants.
Yeah, that would be a great visual. This is what happens to me on cat books. Wow.
No, that's not nice.
Pivot.
Going from cats, I'm going to pivot from cats to birds. Nicely segued, because cats like birds. The Genius of Birds by my lovely, my lovely friend Jack from Spread Book Joy gifted me this, along with, she made some lovely, gorgeous homemade fudge, which so yummy, so delicious. You can't go wrong with homemade fudge. I wanted to give a shout out to the fudge, like you do. But yeah, this book is by Jennifer Ackerman, and it's a non-fiction book, obviously about the genius of birds. There's a tagline here that says, "It's a passionate account of the intelligence of birds," and it says and that was from the Telegraph. And also Rick Bass, who I have no idea who Rick Bass is, said it's delightfully revolutionary, which all of these things intrigue me. There's a little bit on the cover is a little blue tit sticking its head into the milk bottles, which reminds me of my childhood. Because when we used to get our milk delivered, the milk would come with little holes pecked into it. So yeah, that's quite cute, and I'm very excited to read it. I love a non-fiction, particularly about birds.
I was going to say, you've definitely been navigating towards non-fiction more recently.
I read about a third non-fiction for those people listening, which is delightful. This is not non-fiction, but it is from another one of my lovely friends. It is from the lovely Gemma Books. She saw that I loved Clear by Caro Davis. It's actually my favourite fiction of the year. And this is set at the similar time of the clearings, and it's called The Storykeeper by Anna Mazzola. And it says it's me do some of the blah. We've got when Audrey Hart flees London from the Isle of Skye, she does not envisage the power and influence of the island's folklore and superstitions. And it's set in 1857, obviously at the time of the Highland clearances, which is obviously the time when Clear was set. So yeah, that's why she picked it up for me. She knew how much I loved that book, and I think this has got like some dark, intriguing elements. I think there's like some dark mystery going on. At the back of the book, there's actually some recommendations. I'm excited to read it, as I am with all of these.
So now, all of the books that I have are books that I have
procured.
No, already read. This first one, well, actually quite a few of them, it was basically that they were either books that I had from the library before or books that I'd only ever experienced via audio. And so the first one is The Restaurant at the End of the Universe by Douglas Adams, which is the second in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series. And I really got into this series a few years ago. Charlie can probably remember when I decided that I was going to take a break from everything that I was writing and started writing this cozy fantasy story. I wanted to read all and experience all this different media, and so I watched the Martin Freeman Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and then I watched the classic TV show, and then I asked for the book for Christmas, read the book, listened to the sequels. It's just one of those things where I ended up really enjoying it. I even have the classic radio play on LP. That's how much I got into it. So I just thought I'd continue my collection.
I remember how much you loved the audiobooks of them. I do remember that. That was one of the things that stands out in my mind. Did you end up finishing all the series?
Oh, yeah, no. The only one I didn't finish was the Owen Colfer continuation of the series. Yeah. I might get to it one day, but it just wasn't one of those things where I was like, I desperately need to read Owen Colfer's take on how everything continued, despite the fact that a lot of people say that it's a great continuation and a great end to the tale.
That's fair. Another book that my lovely elder sister gifted to me was it is a children's classic. It is The 101 Dalmatians by Dodie Smith, and this edition,
Starlight barking.
Yes, I was going to say, and this edition also has the extra story of the Starlight barking, which I've not actually heard of before, and it's got illustrations. Well, I haven't heard of it.
It's the sequel.
I don't know. I don't even know. I barely even remember 101 Dalmatians, if I'm honest. This edition is illustrated by Alex T. Smith, which Alex T. Smith, for those of you that don't know or didn't hear my thing in December, he is the illustrator of The Grumpus, which is one of my favourite children's Christmas books. So I'm very excited to read this for the story and also for the illustrations. It's quite a chunky book.
Well, it's
nearly 500 pages.
Yeah,
I know, but it's chunky. It's still chunky.
Within my family, there aren't a lot of readers. My mum reads as well. In fact, as I've said before, she probably reads more than me. She reads Mills and Boon, and then she reads these really short romantic reads on her phone. And then, I'm probably about 11 or 12 when she tells me that her favourite book as a child was 101 Dalmatians. And then, as luck would have it, they republished it in this nice edition, and my school library got it in. And I can remember reading it. And I've never known whether I really, really like that story or whether I just really enjoy the nostalgia surrounding the fact that I'm reading a book that I know that my mother really enjoyed as a child, because we don't generally get those sorts of connections because she reads completely different books than me. I'm never going to pick up a Mills and Boon. I've done it before. I've tried to get through them. They're not for me. As we know, I did once write a very erotically charged story at the age of 10, having stolen some scenes from Mills and Boon, but I was just really into peak practice at the time. Anyhow, the Starlight barking is something that I didn't know about until I'd read this book, and I know that a lot of people say that it's a really odd sequel because the Dalmatians seem to develop this magical ability and start flying all over the place.
I can't wait to read that.
So, like, when I got Magnus Power Mouse way back when, thrilling 25-year journey for me, the Starlight Barking was in the same bag, and I brought that home as well.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, so we can read it together. How exciting.
We can. You
So
just
have
have to
you
send me a message to tell me when you're reading it, and I will grab it off my
have
shelf.
you got the first book as well? So we can
Oh, yeah, no,
read?
I have the 101 Dalmatians as well, yeah.
That's gonna be a plan for 2026 then.
There we go, and we've got a
plans.
plan. We are going to read a classic children's book and its somewhat unnecessary sequel.
Yeah, I'm totally up for that. Anyone else that wants to join us, let us know.
We'll let you know when it's happening. So what book do you have next?
I have got a book that was inspired by the lovely Katie Lumsden, because she did in December, she did like an advent where she was reading loads of her shorter books on her shelves, and one of them was this was another one I could have potentially got for you, but the reason I didn't, I'll explain in a second. This, I don't know if you did you watch this particular entry of Katie's?
As we know,
Before I
I
start.
am very, very behind on watching all.
No,
of
I wasn't trying to out
created
you
by
for
my
what. Yeah,
friends.
yeah. So this is it's Reunion by Fred Ullman, and this is a very, very extremely short book. In fact, as I look at it, it is less than 100 pages, like 74 pages. But the reason I picked it up is because when Katie read this, I cannot remember what she said about the plot, and I don't really want to read too much about it because it was her reaction to it. It was, out of all of the books she read, she had the biggest reaction to this particular book in a sad way. So it made her cry. So that was the reason. I know you don't like crying, and like you don't like things that really,
I
really.
don't have a soul, so it doesn't
You
really
do have a
happen that
soul, Charlie,
often.
but you don't want to read things that are so traumatic and sad. I don't know how traumatic and sad this is, but it's definitely very sad because Katie had she literally was in tears. So
it's sad that I can cope with. It's more like darker, grimmer stuff that.
Well, I don't really know whether it's going to.
You know, I have gone back to that recently.
So I'm going to read it and then I'll tell you. So, but yeah, I'm very, very excited to read it, but also slightly terrified. And yeah, it's very, very, very extremely very short. So I feel like that'll be a
Well, as
moment.
you know, I always tell you to focus on shorter books. In January, get all those.
Which I'm the opposite of you.
Boost.
I'm so the opposite of you because I really, really, my first book urges in January are always like the big books. I always really want to read just huge books because you don't have any, like, it's not like you're trying to finish a certain amount. Not that I ever really want to have a certain amount of books I'm trying to finish, but
yeah,
I feel like, yeah, big books January. That's a thing.
Like, I completely understand that way of thinking. And I do know, like, personally, a few years ago, proper creating this journal every year and writing every book I read, I would start the year with this big book. So like one year I know that it was Name of the Wind, but I think that everything became so focused on the numbers and you're almost resetting every year. If I'd never reset it, if I just kept the journal going as like 2010 to wherever the journal ended, it would have been completely better. I wouldn't have cared about starting the year with a large book, but now I look at it and I think I need just to get the numbers up a bit. So I'll just go to some shorter titles, get the numbers up, and then I feel like I can calm down and just read whatever I want then.
Yeah. Well, I'll talk about all that in a minute because I've got a whole thing about numbers and how I'm recording my books this year. So we'll talk about that once I've done the whole. But yeah, that's an interesting thing to talk about. This is a non-fiction book that I spotted when I was out Christmas shopping with my husband. I made him buy for me. I'm going to be honest. And it's called Unschooled by Caro Giles. This could be listed for the Women's Prize for Non-Fiction this year. And yeah, it says it's an essential story. So it's a memoir, obviously. An essential story of modern women, simply breathtaking. And that was a quote by Penny Windsor. And then also Unschooled is a searing memoir about the resilience, love, and true grit of a family forging its own path. It's an urgent expression of resilience, of resistance, demanding a more inclusive, compassionate education system that recognises and supports the unique needs of every child. Sign me up. It's non-fiction, and I think it's about how she hosts I think it's like she was a school teacher and she basically set about home educating her children.
I have a few teacher friends who've done things similar recently, especially in the UK, but I'm not going to get into like a tale about the education system and everything, but they've all had very specific reasons for choosing to take that path and go down the home education route, which is fantastic when the parents are already teachers, so they've been educated in the various different ways that you can teach a child. And, I think it's still the case in this country that it's the parents' responsibility to make sure their child's educated. So if they would rather do that, then fine. But
That's true.
yeah, it's a very interesting and involved topic.
I've got 2 more books. Do you want to do one?
Well, I'll just do this next one then.
Yeah, there you go.
Which this is a book that I have only ever listened to. And then this year I was really enjoying my listen, so I said, could you get me a physical edition of it? And my parents did, and they got me the very nice 25th anniversary edition of Hogfather by Terry Pratchett.
That's
And
beautiful.
this particular edition includes an introduction by Toni Robinson and then another short story that the author wrote for a newspaper. I don't think that this one was in a stroke of the pen, but it says that it was in a blink of the screen.
Okay.
And is 20 pence with envelope and seasonal greeting.
Oh, that's exciting.
I decided to finish my listening of Terry Pratchett, and I read the end of Hogfather for the first time. Completely different response than when I'm listening to it. For whatever reason, reading it felt a bit more emotional and joyful at the end than when I'm just listening to it. And I don't know whether it's because I'm a bit more tuned in when I'm reading as opposed to listening to it, but it felt like a completely different experience. And also, it's a very quick book to read.
You love that book, though.
Oh, no,
I feel like
I do. Terry Pratchett has been cemented as a favourite of mine, but having read it now, there is part of me that thinks, do I just go out and buy all 40 of the books and then just read them?
Yeah, that's why I do. Yeah,
you know who I am.
Yeah, you do this. I'm the same. Like we get obsessions. Yeah. So I can imagine you doing that.
Yeah.
I can imagine the watch out 2026. We're going to be or Charlie Shelves specifically.
I have absolutely no room for more books. We're about to start the major on haul that I keep talking about, but I've definitely got to do it. I've got to get it done before the 19th.
Right. So I've got everything's the wrong side of me and I'm reaching across myself. Anyway, not that anyone listening cares about that. The next book I've got to talk about, the last 2 books, are actually Charlie books that Charlie sent me, the lovely, so you know exactly what's coming, but the listeners do not. The first book actually was the first book I pulled out of the, I don't know what you call it, the parcel. And it's The Ruby's Curse by Alex Kingston. So Alex Kingston has written, she's written this one, and apparently Charlie just told me. I'll let you say about that. Told me.
Oh yeah. So Alex Kingston, who played River Song in Doctor Who, wrote a original adventure for the character called The Ruby's Curse. And I only found out about this book because I recently heard news that there was going to be a sequel coming out in early 2026.
And I'm so excited because for those of you listening that don't know necessarily, River Song was my favourite. Yeah, she's one of my favourite characters in Doctor Who, apart from the Doctors. She's 100% one of the favourites. And actually, watching her on Strictly this year, because she was obviously a dancer on Strictly, one of the cast of Strictly this year. And I just love that so much because she's just amazing. Alex Kingston is amazing. I just love her so much as well. So yeah, those 2 things combined, this is the perfect Charlie gift. And I'm so excited for it. And it's set in 1939 in New York.
I know, but for me as well, with reading the blurb of that, what I really like is that you've got the Melody the Malone character too.
Exactly.
And so it's how's it going to work? Because River Song was clearly both of those people in the show.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just interested to hear how you get on with that one.
Yeah, because it says, I'll read you some of the blurb. It says, well, first of all, the little blurby thing on the back says she's got ice in her heart and a kiss on her lips, which sounds brilliant. And it says, 1939, New York, Private Eye Melody Malone is hired to find a stolen ruby, the Eye of Horus. The ruby might hold the secret to the location of Cleopatra's tomb, but everyone who comes into contact with it dies. And it says, River must find the Eye of Horus before its powers are used to transform the universe. To succeed, she must team up with an unlikely ally, her own fictional alter ego, Melody. Is her fiction changing into fact, or is fact changing into fiction? Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. And another thing I liked about it was the fact that it sounds like the classic adventure stories that I still really enjoy them, but yeah, there was just something there. I'm hopeful.
I'm excited. And then the last book that you gave me, which I'm just excited for all of these books that I've got. I'm so lucky. I really, I was so this close. I was like a hair's breadth from starting this at Christmas, but then I got distracted because this is what happens to us all.
Yeah.
These are short stories, and it is 1,001 Nights in Time and Space, folk tales rescued from around the universe, and it's written by Steve Cole and Paul Magrs. And this is the cover for people watching.
Paul Mars.
Sorry,
Paul Mars.
Oh, it says Magrs.
Well, if you didn't know, Paul's got a YouTube channel.
I did not know that.
I think it's the Cozy Show with or something.
We'll be looking that up.
We'll leave links in various places, but this one in particular is classic Doctor Who stories rewritten like folk tales,
which is so exciting. And they're obviously short stories.
I believe that the audiobook is also a really good one for this.
I might see if I can find it on my zigzag. Some of the titles include The Storyteller's Arrival, Giant, The Butterfly Who Became a Caterpillar, The Tale of the Sleepers, The Little Queen and Her Lord, The Puppet Maker's Daughter, The Henchman, the Witch and the Brain, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah. The penultimate book that I've got, again, is one of my favourites that I read in 2025. I borrowed this book from the library, and it became one of those books that I really wanted to dedicate my time to, and when it came to reading it, I think I did it in about 2 days, and that is The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. And this was a hugely popular fantasy novel this year, and it's one which, when I first heard about it, I wanted to read it because it's supposed to be this murder mystery set in a fantastical world. And what you get is a murder mystery, but it's also this huge tale of intrigue. And it's a very tough read, really, because you begin with one character and you get rather close to them. And then there's this almost staggering act of betrayal that happens. And the novel goes on from there and shares the repercussions of that. And you get to see the characters who were there all those years ago having to deal with that now, as well as dealing with this tournament and having to contend with the fact that everybody involved is looked upon in a certain type of way. I predicted twists would happen, and they would happen, but not in the way that I had expected. And I just think that what the author has done within the novel and within the narratorial voice she chose is just a really good, fresh thing in fantasy fiction. And it felt so incredibly formed. The characters were ones that, I don't know whether you rooted for them, but you respected their decisions and you understood where they were coming from. And that's what it made it. That's one of the things that made it more of a tough read, was the fact that you know exactly why these characters are doing what they're doing, even if you can also understand that it's not a decision you'd ever want to have to make.
Sounds really good, and I do remember you talking about it. Yeah, it definitely would be one. Like, I feel like it's like one that I would be interested in, but would I have time to get to it? I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
I've seen that on some other people's lists as well.
Yeah, no, it's been doing the rounds this year, and
Exciting.
I'm usually one who avoids hype books, but I'd heard so much about this one that I was like, I can't avoid it. I need to see what it's about. And this time around, I agree. There was a reason that people were fussing about this one.
It's a very you book.
Definitely.
So the next one launches quite swiftly and smoothly into our currently reading, which is the next section we kind of go to talk about, because I'm guessing the last one is one you will launch into your currently reading.
Yeah, my last one also launches into currently reading. So let's just announce what our final books are. You do yours, go into your currently reading, then I'll announce mine and go into my currently reading.
Yeah, that's perfect. So the last book is Leonard and Hungry Paul. This is also one, spoilers, that I have gifted to Charlie. Charlie knows this is winging his way. Because of my failure as a friend, I decided to gift Charlie I was going to send this to Charlie anyway. Well, not this specific, my copy, obviously, to be clear. As soon as I was like reading about this and hearing about this, I was thinking this seemed like a very Charlie thing. So yeah, that's mine. You tell me yours and then we'll go into a bit more about the blurbs of it.
Yeah, so my final book is a hefty one, and I haven't actually read this one yet, and a lot of people will know this book. And it's The Book of Dust, The Rose Field by Philip Pullman.
This is going to be on loads of people's Christmas present thing.
Yeah, and late November, early December, I remembered that I had started Northern Lights by Philip Pullman and was still in the middle of a reread. And so I was like, right, let's finish that one. So I got it, finished it. And it's a story that I've talked about in our Christmas Cracker videos on YouTube about the fact that when I was younger, it wasn't necessarily a story that I would think about too much. You know, a lot of friends were reading it and it was a favourite of theirs, but it wasn't one I went to until the film came out and my brother got the video game for Christmas and he decided to see if he could beat me reading the book, playing the video game. So, you know, it was great for my mother. We were quiet for hours whilst I read this book and he played his video game. As adults, sometimes, occasionally, I get the want to read this book. And this time around, I read Northern Lights. And I was like, well, now I need to actually read the sequels. I've only ever listened to them before. So, finish The Subtle Knife on Sunday and hopefully going to finish The Amber Spyglass by the end of the year. And I already have the second book in the Book of Dust series waiting for me to read. So I thought, I know the way I'm feeling at the moment, the way I've been going through these books, I'm going to want the final book there, you know, ready to go into, as opposed to what I was previously doing, which was just like, it's a popular book, I'll wait for it to come into the shop. Because I'm just in that mood. I don't know why, it's just appeared, and I've decided not to question these things. If I want to reread something and push aside all other obligations reading-wise, then I'm going to do it.
Quite right. That's what reading should be. You should just be reading by whatever you feel like, not because of you feel like anyone else expects anything. Because that's always
no, there are certain agreements that I've made with publishers that I would review.
Fair enough. Then. In that case, I'll take that back.
Oh yeah, feel free to take it back. But also, like, if any of the publishers who have sent me books and asked me to have them reviewed by November and notice that they haven't been reviewed,
they'll be quickly, swiftly being reviewed shortly.
Just wait. Just bide your time, you know? Yeah. Time is a construct.
It definitely is. My currently reading is one I'm about halfway through. I'm just slightly under halfway through. And it's Leonard and Hungry Paul, like I said. And it's by Ronan Hesse. And this is one that's been in my periphery for such a long time. I feel like it's a book that lots of people rave about, and it's always like a bookish favourite for many, many people. This year, I think it came out on the screen.
Yeah.
I think the BBC launched it as a show, which I knew then that I was going to be like endeavouring to try and read the book before I saw the show, because this is who we are. We are bookish people. We don't always have to do this, but this is just who I am specifically. And I also, the lovely Pat from Book Chat with Pat, specifically had mentioned loving this. So that was another push, and my friend Jack as well also. And it's two friends. So we've obviously got Leonard and we have Hungry Paul. Leonard at the beginning of the book his mum has died. This is not really a spoiler because it literally happens in the first few pages. And his mum has sadly passed away, but it's not dwelled upon. It obviously is a big thing in his life. And I feel like he's unpacking those feelings within the pages of the book, obviously, but it's not like a heavy weight in the first half of the book. It seems like, especially, it doesn't like linger in those feelings. It's not all about grief, basically. But yeah, you meet him, so you meet him, and then you also meet Hungry Paul. Also, you meet his sister as well, Hungry Paul's sister, Grace. Grace is about to get married, is due to be getting married to Andrew, I think it is, and my memory is terrible. So we do also have Grace's perspective as well in this, which I wasn't actually expecting. But it's just so quiet, and it's about these relationships. It's not like plotty at all, or from what I've read anyway. And it's just this beautiful, beautiful writing, and these like it's very, very charactery. Such gorgeous writing. And every single time I'm like, I feel like this will be one I reread and then like underline, and like it's very, very quotable. I feel like it's a very quotable book. I'm desperate for you to read this, Charlie, now. I have to tell you, like, I've been so desperate to talk to you about this. And I feel like it is a very Charlie book as well as me.
Okay, so we might have found the first proper Charlie book of 2026 if I get around to reading it incredibly
I'm desperate
quickly.
for you to read it. I'm desperate for you to read it. It's like 200 pages. It's like hardly. It's so short.
I find it fantastic that I've just told you how I'm throwing out all obligations to reread certain
and then
books.
suddenly I'm
if you don't read this book soon, like friendship over, goodbye.
Yeah. But I do think you'll genuinely like it because it feels there's something sort of like timeless about it. It has a timeless quality. I hate when people say that, but I really, 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 really feel like it because of
Already
how
resorting to cliches on episode 1.
Yeah, 100%. Because of it being so much about the characters, and I don't know. I just think when it's just such good writing. I just love it. It's just these these moments. They're just moving through the world. They're interacting with these the people around them, and it's sort of their thoughts a little bit. And yeah, it's just beautiful. I feel like it could be a favorite of this year. Well, obviously
it's going to be a favorite of 2025 for you if you get it finished within the next 2 days.
I'm hoping to.
Well, no, I do hope that it continues down that vein and then it ends up being a new favorite for you. But I wish that for all books.
Yeah, that's why I don't do my favorites until the beginning of 2020, like the following year. Like I can't do it till the first. People that put their favorites out before the first, I'm like, how do you do that? Oh,
I could have done that this year because for the last few years I've ended each year with a reread.
Yeah,
and
so you know.
I think it is because of this thing of being worried of reading a new book and it potentially being a new favorite, and then having this favorites video come out and being like, I know I've only just read it, but I think it's really got the staying power, and then I've forgotten it by February.
Yeah.
And so I think that one of the reasons that I've started rereading throughout December is also because it avoids that thing. It's like, I know that I enjoy these books. I know these books are big.
That's a good tip.
And I don't include previous favourites on my new favourites list.
Because sometimes as well, when you've recently read something, obviously you have recency bias, don't you? So you read a book and you're so excited, and then eventually, because like some books do fade, you can read them and then think, oh my God, they're a favourite, and then they fade a little bit more, whereas other books then come forward. Yeah, recency bias. So I am a bit concerned about that, because there are 2 books that I'm listening to, 2 audiobooks, which I'm not going to go too much into because I'm guessing, I don't know, I'll maybe talk about them in next week's episode, depending when I finish them. There are More Rivers in the Sky by Elif Shafak, which is a book that I've been waiting to read, that had it in my audio account for such a long time, and I've been putting it off. Elif Shafak is an amazing writer. I love Elif Shafak's writing. Her prose are just stunning. This one is historical fiction, and it's got a character in it which I adore, Arthur. And then the second book is another that I'm currently reading, is another one I'm listening to on audio, is The Little Book of Miriam by Miriam Margolyes, and it's like an A to Z of like her life, and it's the audiobook is obviously narrated by her, so it does make me laugh out loud, and I feel like I could think of it as a favourite, but then potentially again could be one that slightly fades in time with time.
I often think that with certain books that I've read that are written by celebrities or comedians, where they've made me laugh and I've left the book with this happy impression, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a favourite, I'll go back to that. And inevitably I do go back to that, but I go back to that for fun. When I think about the actual quality or anything, I'm like, you have to almost like try and quantify favourites here, I think. And it's like,
it's hard.
Are you really going to hold it onto the same level as this book in terms of like celebrity memoir and books by these authors? Then yeah, it's probably a great one. But if you hold it up to some of your other favourites from the year, is it going to be of that same standards? That's where I always found it a difficult one when it came to those sorts of books.
That's fair enough. But Miriam Margolyes is hilarious. If anyone's ever seen her talk, or specifically in the UK on the Graham Norton show, which I think that is shown in America as well, but she's so hilarious there, and she does recount quite a lot of amazing stories, and she's like in her 80s, and she's like lived such a cool life. So her book is brilliant, and the audiobook. So I do recommend if you're wanting something kind of, but she also does talk about heavier things as well, but not in like a deep way. But yeah, so those are my recent reads. Have you got any other recent reads, Charlie?
No. Well, I could. Everything that has happened recently has all been Philip Pullman or Hogfather. It was all rereads, trying to finish the books that I'd already started earlier on in the month.
This year, one of my things in 2026 is I'm not using Storygraph. I am not. Well, I'll maybe talk about this in next week's episode a bit more.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, next week's episode is going to be like reading goals, what we're not bringing into this year, that sort of thing. Yeah.
So, but I've got a box, which I'm very excited for. And this is going to be, because I'm not, I've got a box. So I'm not using Storygraph this year. I love Storygraph. It's like, if anyone is wanting to track that you're reading digitally, I highly recommend Storygraph. It's like one of my favorite apps. But this year I'm steering away from that because I'm trying to not focus on my reading as much. I want to focus outside of reading, even though we're doing obviously this bookish podcast / our podcast. So,
Yeah.
It's like irony there.
We've talked a lot about books recently for something we just thought was be two friends just chatting and gabbing about the world.
Yeah. But this is we'll see where this goes. But yeah, I've got a box. So anyone listening, I've got a box and I have filled it with coloured strips of paper. And so it's to make it like kind of Storygraph-esque to me. So we've got the yellow pieces of paper are fiction books. The blue pieces of paper are going to be non-fiction books. The pink pieces of paper are poetry. And the green pieces of paper inside the box are going to be book prize books, because these 4 things are, out of all the reading, my favourite things in reading, I would say. So, yeah, I just wanted to show you.
No, I'm pretty sure
Very excited for my box.
who is watching or listening is really thrilled at getting that deep dive into your box.
Yeah. I'm so excited by my box. I was cutting up the strips yesterday and the box is really pretty and got like gold and sunshines on them. So yeah, I'm very, very excited by my box. And also I'm going to have another box to write down happy moments in, which is another thing I'll talk about next week. But yeah.
Okay, well, speaking of which, would you like to share what your happiest moment of the week has been?
My happiest moment of the week. So obviously we've just had Christmas. I'm going to say, I don't want to be so cheesy. No, I will be cheesy. It's just having Oscar home. I just love. And I know this was something I mentioned obviously before. Yeah, having Oscar home. I love all my family equally. And also ahead of time, it's going to be Belle's birthday. She's a New Year's Eve baby, which I know this is coming out after New Year's Eve. But that's also going to be a happy moment because it's all my family. Like, I love, this is like the family time of year. Yeah. And it's just, obviously Richard's off work. We're all together and I could just happily lock myself away from everybody else. I love all my friends, but I just love this quality time at home. We're just having fun with my family. We just laugh so much. We have the most fun together. And I'm going to be so, so sad when Oscar goes back. I've already cried about it, Charlie.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. You kind of have enough tears for the both of us. Whether it's happy time or a sad time, you've got the tears there ready for us.
I've already been crying.
My happy moment has been something similar. I really enjoyed the Christmas day at my sister's and being with the family there and how relaxed it is. But I am, it's about to end. It ends today. I go back to work tomorrow. But I just had has it been 6 days? I think it's been 5 days off work. And ordinarily what I would prefer is to have a long stretch, about 10 days, where I almost decompose. I hide away in the house. I only leave to walk the dog. Most of it has been sat down watching older films, the ones that I've never managed to see before. And the days don't really have anything. If I want to read, I'll read. And generally, I end up doing a lot more reading than I thought about. And it's just been that sort of thing, that time where really I just got to sit in the corner and just relax and not have to think about anything. And I really enjoy that. And I'm going to miss it. Because it'll be back again one day.
No, I'm so glad that you had the best Christmas, though, Charlie. I just think that's so nice.
I mean, I never said I had the best Christmas. Don't forget the more drama than a soap opera that I mentioned earlier.
So we'll have to get round to. You need to tell me this after.
I might mention it to you, Charlie, but I can't mention it in public.
No, you'll have to tell me after.
Anyway, I think that's us. I think that our plans for next week are going to include, as I've said earlier, discussing why we might not be bringing reading goals with us into 2026, and some plans that we might have anyway, and just a general look at how things are going forward.
We've also got the Instagram that's going to be launched. So watch out if you're on the YouTube. Watch out in the community tabs and / we'll put it on the link. In this description.
Any descriptions, we're going to have links to the Instagram on there. That is going to be the only piece of social media apart from the YouTube channel where the video portion of this podcast is going to appear. Yeah, I think.
We wish everyone a happy New Year because this is.
We can wish them a happy New Year if you like, but it's
ahead of time. Well, this is going out. Is it the 3rd? You said.
The 6th.
The 6th. Oh my days! We're really into January then. This is so timey-wimey, isn't it?
We hope that you have had a happy New Year. We hope that it has been, suitably festive. We hope that you don't remember much of the 31st of December / the 1st of January.
I hope you remember it.
Well, I just meant, for those of you who enjoy imbibing certain fluids.
You can be there for the percentage of the people that like to imbibe the fluids, and I'll be here for the people that don't.
Whatever you do, be safe, be good, and if you need an alibi, don't come crying to me because I'll be at home with me Buxpies and me cheese board.
And tell us all your stories. Tell us wherever there is places to comment. Tell us all your stories of things that have happened.
We've got the Discord server.
Oh yeah, we got on the Discord server.
There is a Discord server for the It's a Charlie Thing podcast. We will leave a link wherever links can go, and you can go there and you can chat, have fun, make new friends. More often than not, it's going to be that Charlie who's speaking to you because this Charlie doesn't care to speak to folk. But it's all going to be a fantastic 2026 as we go forth with It's a Charlie Thing. And I think that's us, Charlie.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Thank you, and ta-ra.
Bye-bye.